Hi, I'm Angela Prentice-Smith, Managing Director of This Is Milk and founder of Neve Learning, and I'm here with another episode of Angela Talks. Today, I'm going to talk about how inclusion is hard as fuck. Let's just call it out. There's clearly a movement in business to become more diverse and to be more inclusive. And the reasons for that, well, firstly, it's the right thing to do from an equity and equality perspective. However, it also truly does mean that you solve problems better, you solve better problems, and there is a commercial reason to do so. You will achieve more with diversity and inclusion than what you will without. However, there is a reason that people recruit people like themselves. Naturally, as people, we have an affinity to people like us, right? We make friends with people like us. We have things in common, and that's what we gravitate to. And the old saying, birds of a feather flock together, is very true. So that's one angle of it, is that naturally we are attracted to people like us. However, there's a secondary thing here, that the means that we have developed as a society for testing somebody's abilities, for example, degree educations and things like that, are effectively sets of merit that have been defined by a certain group of people. Them being defined by that certain group of people means that they naturally exclude others, and they are culturally specific. So going through a university in the States, an Ivy League, that is a certain set of merit. It isn't necessarily meaning that the people that achieve those are any better at something else than anything else. But the third bit of it is, even when we recruit for diversity, it is hard to manage. And the reason it's hard to manage is that because everybody being different and everybody being allowed to be themselves in the workplace naturally means there's more conflict, which makes things more difficult. You have to be super empathetic. You have to listen more. You have to understand different people's point of view. You have to be both careful of what you say, but also not fearful to have difficult conversations where elements of what you've done have potentially excluded someone. And that does happen, and it does happen unwittingly. But what we need to do is to actually make that okay. Now, the benefits of having a diverse team are manifold, and for a really good book about why we need diversity, I would recommend Matthew Said's Rebel Ideas. It takes you through the pitfalls of not being diverse and how you are missing so many angles, you are missing so many commercial opportunities, you're missing that diversity of thought. And now that we're in a world that most of the challenges that we're facing are adaptive in nature, meaning they're complex, they have multiple potential solutions that all need to act together, we need that diversity of thought more than ever. But if you bring people into your organization that are diverse, from whatever background that might be, really what you're looking for is that diversity of thought. Unless you have created a platform and a culture that is inclusive by design and allows for psychological safety, then you're not going to harness the benefits of that diversity. And that in itself is really difficult. So diversity is harder. Diversity is harder to manage. You're not managing everybody that's like you. If I'm recruiting people like me and I know what to expect from them because they're like me and they do as I say, that is much easier to manage than me having to understand potentially 15 different people, what makes them all tick, how they work differently, what's going to make them feel included, and what's going to bring the best of each single one of those out. That is a lot of work. And I don't think we acknowledge enough that diversity is hard. And there are things around people's, if we want to call it protected characteristics, that do clash. You can have somebody, for example, an autistic person that may need to stim in a meeting. You may have someone who feels excluded due to their gender and their accent, etc., that feels that by that person stimming in the meeting that they are disregarding their input, and in that respect they're feeling like that is misogyny in action. And that isn't one example that I've actually had where two people's needs for inclusion and their needs to feel comfortable have directly clashed with each other. And that's very, very difficult to navigate. But ultimately, it's for the benefit of the organization. And I would rather still have that diversity because I know that it brings business benefits and allows us to innovate than to not have it at all. But I don't want to gloss over this and to say that it's really easy. So with that, I will stop, and I would love to get your thoughts on it. And if you could please subscribe to the YouTube channel, Angela's Talks, and yeah, drop in a comment if you have anything to say on that. Thank you.